Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel, and this is Naya Dojens. And on today's process video, not tutorial video, I'm going to be putting you through on steps on how to create a slanted waistline without you obstructing your hip padding, like having a asymmetrical waistline and your padding still being intact without it being altered or tampered with. Now if you want to see how this was done, please stay to the end, like, share if you find this helpful, and let's get into learning. So guys, first thing first, you must have already gotten your bodice pattern, your skirt pattern, and you've made available for the material you're going to be using to drape on this dress. Okay, whatever bodice you want to use, whatever you have in mind, there's no problem. And please use a better choice of fabric than I did. Okay, this project was I don't even know, let me just leave that story for now. So if there's need for you to add boning, please make channels for that, and flat iron, and always iron and infuse your cloths and interfacing so that the cloth is going to be steady. Now this is my pattern from my previous video on hip padding, and I'm going to be using this fiber material for this project. Okay, I'm going to drop a link in the description for you to have access to the hip padding. It's actually simple, beginner friendly. It's something you get along with very easily because it is super beginner friendly. So now here I am cutting my patterns in two. Like this is the back pattern. I'm going to cut two of it because it's going to be on the two belts, and then two of the front part of it. Now one thing about this fiber, is my first time using it. It was actually kind of difficult for me to cut because it was hooking on my scissors and all that. And without that, okay, not just without that, while sewing it as well, it was getting stuck with my needle because of its fiber, and it pulls off, like it has particles that is pulling off from it and all that. So I don't know, I still have a little of it because I got more than a few, so I will definitely be using them all. Okay, so now this is the front pattern. I've cut them both out, so I'm going to be placing them together, then I'm going to stitch it. Now this is the front body, so I've already added my boning and my cups to it, and I'm going to be placing my lining on top of it to turn it out. Okay, now this actually I was supposed to make a detailed video on how to make this up part, but I lost some clips of it, so that's why I'm making this a process video. Please bear with me. So now after this, we're going to move over to our skirt pattern. Now I've already infused my the padding to the lining. Now this is the main fabric, and this is the lining which I've infused it. Remember I said I'm going to drop a link for you to get a full detail on hip padding. Okay, super beginner friendly. Now this fiber was pulling off, like I said earlier, so I was not really comfortable with it, so I went ahead to laminate it with my hasting, like you see. So yes, I had to laminate it. I really don't want to wear a dress and then it will be pulling off and bringing out particles or fibers out of it. So that is what I did with it. So if you're using this fiber, please do laminate your padding. Okay, so now after that, I'm going ahead to open the eyelet of the upper part of it. Now to do that, I want to say something. Please make sure you add another interfacing on the place you're going to be open your eyelets. Do you get me? Like on the lining and as well as on the main fabric, you have to double it so that it's going to be thick enough when you add your eyelets to it. It does not weigh out in a long time, or because that place is going to be strained. Of course that place is going to be strained, and you know you've been dragging it when you're wearing it. So after doing that, I've torn it out, and you like you saw me, I actually made a stitch, like a channel where I can pass my boning into. Did you see this? Yes, I just made a channel. This is the easiest way I do it. There's so many other ways for you to do this. Now you add a channel to, like you can see now, I'm going to add my eyelet to it, and that place is thick enough. My eyelet does not wear out in the long run, or either by too much straining or all that, because I've already padded, or I've added a lot of interfacing on this eyelet channel to make it thick and firm. Now in this part, I've actually done all that, done my eyelet, and I'm trying to show you guys how I'm going to stitch my skirt to the upper part of the gown. Yes, I'm going to stitch it and just close it up before I'm going to go ahead. Now at this point, this is the material, the lace I'm going to be using to drape on the main gown. Okay, now this is the back part of it, which is in my zip channel, where I'm going to insert my zip, and then the front panel. And note you, I did not put any darts in this pattern. I didn't put any darts in it, so the dart and every other thing was done on the main fabric, not on the main fabric but on the bodice. So now I've joined it together. I've inserted my zip like you can see me do. Then I'm going to sew my sewing allowance, and because I'm very sure, I actually added 1 inch allowance. You get, because you will not want too much allowance on the dress when you're incorporating it into the other one, because this is a lace and it's going to be visible. If you add too much allowance, it's going to show that the allowance is much, and you don't want to add too much allowance. But just make sure it's actually going to suit your dress. By this time you already done your hip padding and every other thing, so you know the measurement you're going to be taking for this skirt. And my skirt is a straight skirt. It's not what they call it, a-cut or whatever overflowing dress. You can do just as you prefer. And I've actually joined everything. I was just trying to show you guys how it looks on the inside, all neat and cleaned up. Please use a better material choice than I did. Honestly, I used this material and it was what was remaining, so I used it for this project. Now this is what it's looking like when I was done with the whole stuff, and I wanted to test it out first. Now I was wearing the draped material on top of it, like you can see me do. Now this is it, and as you can see, the waist is a bit bigger because I'm going to be open one side and then I'm going to be slanting it over. So I don't want a case whereby the hip part is bigger than the waist part. So if the waist of it is actually too tight or exact same size as my waist, is going to have a shortage depending on how deep you want the slanted waist to be. Now I'm just using my razor or a seam ripper to open it up. Now then you can just drape it on your body, or you can use a mannequin to just drape it how deep you want it to look. Then use your pin to infuse on it. Now this pattern now is going to help your padding not to be compressed or touched or tampered with, because if I was to do this and if I was to slant the waist then with the material, like infusing the lace and the material together, it was going to actually alter the hip padding. So in order to have the hip padding and still have a slanted waist, this is a preferable means. And please, if you have a much better way to actually get this effect without altering your hip padding, please let me know on the description and on the comment section. Sorry guys, then I would love to learn from you guys. Just make sure everything sits well. Use a mirror to check. And this was what was looking like when I was done draping it. I had to come outside to do it. Now this part, I just want to show you how I able to stitch on this to the main dress without using my sewing machine. Okay, I'm using an invisible stitch. Okay, now just follow the process. Now you're first of all going to start from the main fabric, start from the main fabric, because I'm starting from the main fabric. Then you secure your thread in it, making a knot like so. You make a knot, then you take your needle, make another knot again. I don't know, I can't overemphasize on making a knot, like securing your thread on the fabric to ensure that it doesn't break out on the long run, remember. So now once you do that, you take your thread or your needle into the lace, like you're pinching it, then you bring it out just a little. You take it in, then bring it out like you see me do. Then you come back to the black material, then you do the same thing in the same space. then you bring it out, then you go over to the lace, then you take it in, then bring it out in a few space, then you go over again to the black. It's like you're making a zigzag stitch, guys. You just continue that process. It's just like you're making a zigzag stitch, then you go back, and now remember, you're not dragging it. You're going to be seeing the thread. Sorry, I will have just made that visible. I will have to make a video on invisible stitch one of these days. So you do that, then you just continue the process, then you drag it. Now it's going to close up all those thread, so I'm going to do it the same again for a while. You take it over to the other side, you pinch, then you go again to the other side, then you go again to the other side, you pinch, you bring it out, then you take it to the other side. It's going to have this line, this thing is like a zigzag stitch. Okay, I've oversaid that, but you get my point, right? So you just continue the process till you're done with the dress, and every excess you're going to be seeing under it, you trim it out. You stitch and get to an extent, then you drag it. Remember, you stitch, make a zigzag stitch, you to an extent, you drag it. So now this is the finished look of me stitching it together. Now this process is going to help you so that you don't interfere with the padding, or you don't alter the padding or press on the padding. Okay, I know you found this video helpful. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, and share. And a video is coming up where I'm going to be showing you guys how I embellished this dress, like how I beaded on the dress and every other thing. Please do not forget to subscribe and remain super blessed until my next video. Bye for now.